Okay. So won't you introduce yourself to America?
My name is Vicki Lynn.
And you got a daughter by the name of Deidre Celeste, right?
Yes.
And for the last 7 years, you really didn't know up until here recently. You didn't know where she was, did you?
No, I knew she was all over the place with her husband, which was a convicted smuggler and just a bad man.
Okay, so you went and got her here recently, and how could you tell us leading up just the part about how you found her? Because we're going to get to how all this stuff, But right now, how did you find her? You got wind that she was in San Diego, right?
A lady called Maria Ramirez, which was a family finder. She called me and told me my daughter was in San Diego. And she got in touch with a worker called Niecy Brown. And after many, many calls, Niecy Brown finally called me. And she told me that the children were in a diagnostic center, and she couldn't tell me much about my daughter. And my daughter is partial quadriplegic, wears AFOs, and has trouble getting around.
So you flew out there, didn't you?
Yeah, she told me I needed to come out there, so I flew to San Diego to try to get things straightened out. I wanted my grandchildren to come home with me. Well, at first, I found out the oldest one was having severe liver damage, and they were going to do a liver biopsy. So I wanted to be there for that. And the reason that he had severe liver damage is because they gave him so many antipsychotic drugs that it started destroying his liver.
Well, wouldn't those psychotic drugs because of some supposed delusions? In fact, these same delusions that he believes he saw and witnessed are the reasons why they took took them from their mother, your daughter, about her being delusions, right?
Yes. One of the delusions is that her husband poisoned her, and he did. She's partial quadriplegic.
That was from a nerve toxin.
From a nerve toxin. It took her 12 years to get better where she can walk with AFOs, and she still has trouble getting around. And when the oldest son, which was 10 at the time, started telling about his father, he's in the Mexican Mafia, all the things that he had done, machine guns that he had shot and all that, well, they started drugging him up, saying he was delusional. They said my daughter was delusional. And they're not delusional. In fact, in the report, it says, the summary, comments, and recommendations, my impressions of Celeste are that she is suffering from delusional disorder. There are many contradictions in the stories that she tells. One of the most obvious occurred after her story about being born in the U.S. and being raised by people other than Hispanics. And I am not Hispanic. I raised her. She was born in the U.S. As a matter of fact, this is her birth certificate, born in Georgia. This is my birth certificate, born in Alabama. And she is my daughter.
So you've read these court papers, haven't you?
All 2,000 of them.
And so basically her delusions are that she was born in the United States, raised by non-Hispanics, her first language not being English, that she has partial paralysis now, at one time a complete quadriplegic from nerve toxin. And there was a comment in the court papers about inside information about 911. Now, this is about including of this part. The next part we're going to go in more detail. But it did say that she claimed to have inside information in 9/11. Did you read that in the court papers?
It is in the court papers.
So if anybody wanted to go to the internet, to the websites, and look at these court papers, they will actually see. Of course, they added a bunch of extra stuff to it, talking about she claimed to be a CIA and all that, informant, worked with the president. Have you ever heard your daughter say she worked with the CIA, DIA, or worked with the president. Has your daughter ever said anything that ludicrous?
No.
Now, but the 911 is true, right?
Yes, I knew when she was living with the Middle Easterns, and
So, you're going to tell us about that in the next clip. So please, stay tuned to part 2 of the interview with her mama.